Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to introduce to you someone very special. Jill Healy-Quintard is a multi-award-winning specialist in the field of mind-body connection and personal transformation. She is an advocate for the benefit of human movement and mindfulness, which she includes in all of her programs. She's passionate about diversity, equity, and embracing multiculturalism. And through the work she's done in the fitness and wellness area for over 40 years, Jill has helped thousands of men, women, and children to improve their well-being and reach their goals of all kind, including achieving a sense of balance in their life. Jill's first book, called Yoga Pilates Fusion, a mind, body and balance practice, was released in 2019 and reached #1 in the top 10 Amazon bestseller list. She's launching her second book, Open the Gate to a Life of Infinite Possibilities, right here today. In it, Jill shares aspects of her life that inform the approach she takes to educating others with strategies to transform their life. These strategies have led Jill to becoming a shining light and a maverick within the fitness and wellness space and beyond. This is the second time I've had the pleasure of introducing Jill in this venue, so would you please welcome back to the State Library of New South Wales, Jill Healy-Quintard.
Oh my God, that sounds so amazing. Thank you, Tim. And thank you, Jane. And thank you, State Library. Can't believe I feel so privileged that I'm here again. And after hearing all the other people, I just feel like I want to be moving because that's what I love doing, and that everybody move with me if they wanted to. But that's when Tim said that about everybody having a stretch, I'd been sitting there thinking, I think I'll start this talk with doing a stretch. So have you all done your stretch? You don't want another one? Okay, so yes, I'm Jill Healy-Quintard, and I have written another book called Open the Gate. And this is the book, Open the Gate, with my sister's an artist, and her beautiful artwork on the front. And this is me at the gate, arms in the air, heart lifted, because that's what I think. If you lift your heart, you open your heart to the world, and good things happen. Because when you're down, you've got your head down, heart is down, everything's down. This is where movement is medicine. So when you're sitting, do you know what happens? All your internal organs get squashed, and it's not a good thing. But if you sit up and lengthen your spine, and I don't know if you do know, but if you turn to your right, you massage your liver. If you turn to your left, you massage your spleen. So it's a really good little thing to do, just if you're sitting at a desk, and also moving the eyes around because you end up sitting and staring at a computer and a screen and all of that. So I do all of this sort of thing with my clients, and I absolutely adore teaching. I teach classes. I think I was born a teacher. When someone says you're born as something, I think I was born a teacher. Anyway, Open the Gate. The story of Open the Gate comes from a story that occurred to me when I was doing a training in Adelaide with a bunch of women in the fitness industry or well-being. Mine's very much fitness and wellness, not just one or the other. It has to be fused. And this happened. We were sitting in a house. 5 of us, we didn't know each other, from all different parts of Australia, had decided to rent a house in order to do a course that lasted a week. And this course was called Chi Ball. And Chi Ball as in energy chi, little round ball, and in that course was yoga and Pilates and the things that I do and the things that they all do. And we came back to the place we were in and sitting down, having a few wines, and I said, oh, you know what this ball looks like? A fortune teller's ball. Let's see if there's any spirits, any magic in this place. So everybody went, oh yeah, why not? So I said, well, what about we set it up and we put the letters around and a yes and no, and let's see if we can get something happening here. And so we're all sitting there. It was fun. It was not in any intensity. It was just fun. So we're sitting there doing this, and people were asking questions to see if anything amazing or anybody was around, or let's see if there's any spirits. And I'm sitting beside a woman who I didn't know, and next thing she grabbed my arm and she started doing this. And then she started going, open the gate, open the gate, open the gate, open the gate. And I was going, oh my God. She goes, I'm so sorry, I don't even know who you are, but I think your mother's here. And I went, my mother? And she said, yes. She keeps saying, open the gate, open the gate. And I said, my mother died a few years back. Does that mean she's here? And, oh, I think she is. What's open the gate? and I suddenly went back to when I was a little girl and we were living right on the water in Kirribilli area at that point, and my mother went to the letterbox and I was with her, and she got the letter and she opened the letter and she'd found out her father had died. Not in Australia, he was somewhere else, but he had died. And she got very emotional, and then she said to me, so I was, maybe about 8, I think, she said, I never forgave him. And I said, what for? I mean, I probably went, what are you talking about, actually? And then she told me that when she was a young child, he was a very well-known architect, and they had a big property, and they had horses, 100 acres and horses, and she was given a horse, and it was her special horse. And she would go out riding on her own, and he'd say to her, you must be home by sunset or you'll lose the horse. Anyway, so she usually got the horse home. But she was riding around one day, and knowing my mother, who was a very creative and artistic woman, she would have just been enjoying whatever was around her. She realised the sun was setting and she wasn't quite sure where she was on that 100 acres. And so she's telling me she was riding the horse really hard, saying, open the gate, open the gate, open the gate. And that story came back to me straight away. And I realised then, I have a story here. Like we all have stories. I have a story here, and whether it was my mother or not, I don't know, but it became a story because I realised that open the gate means freedom. And that's what I'm about with people, with women, with particularly women, is freedom and creating freedom through movement, because movement to me is medicine. And I think, again, if you find that you are stuck in a way, I really believe that you get up and move your body, you change everything about your mind. The once you see, are we talking about acting? I actually did acting, and I know about going left stage, right stage, and through the middle. And I think I'm losing the microphone. I know this is so important to actually find something and draw it in and think about something so powerful and so passionate, you can change the way you feel. So I love to do this. So this story is a mix of my story, which takes me through different parts of going through Catholic education with a father who was Irish Catholic and very full on and liked to party all the time, and an incredibly amazing musician mother and creative person, a designer of German background. So I came from this sort of background of mixed things. We moved out of Kirribilli into Duffy's Forest, which I was horrified because that was a space where there was no water, there was water, but no harbour bridge, no opera house, no Luna Park, in my view, and found it on that big space very confining. But what I did do is I continued to dance and move. So through that property, which is Garrigal land, and also Aboriginal carvings, we had waterfalls, we had everything. It was quite amazing, I think. But anyway, I would continue moving. I never ever stopped. Ooh.
We will finish collecting material from storage at 4 p.m. What? After that time, we'll be ready for you from 10 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, I'd say that's for the staff because tomorrow's an open day, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So we went in, and I'm in Duffy's Forest, and continued somehow. My mother, or how I did it, I'm not sure these days now, from Duffy's Forest to the city, went to the same ballet school. So I go to that ballet school. Oh, I do remember, that's right, how I got there. By this stage, I'm in primary school, and I was allowed to catch the train, which was always an interesting thing as a young girl, catching a train and getting to the ballet school. Now, there we are, back to women. So this is, when I'm talking the eras of 60s and 70s, when we're still seeing it, that women are somehow impinged upon because of the way they look, the way they walk and what they're wearing. And this used to happen to me all the time as a child. And so at the same time, I realised a strength that I had as well, because I wouldn't allow it to happen to me. Even though things did happen that were not really nice, but I wouldn't allow it, and I realised that we must have strength as women. And back to then creating classes, movements, coaching, and bringing women to a place where they feel good about themselves, because so many women do not feel good about themselves. And I know that, you know, things happen to men, of course. I'm not in denial there's if that things that don't happen, but the fact that women do generally are brought up having to behave in certain ways because they're female, and told that they're not allowed to do this and they're not allowed to do that. Therefore, they find that they are small and they want to grow and make themselves bigger. So I coach women to help them to grow and be much bigger within themselves. And through the movement I do, does create that. So back to that powerful mind-body. So when you get a sense of balance of mind and body, you also have a sense of more power within you, more empowerment. So on this, I have quite a few different things in this book that refer to this book as well. So this was the book that actually published in 2019, which was Yoga Pilates Fusion. If it wasn't for Jane, it would never have happened. And this one was the one I was actually doing at the same time, but I never thought it would get out there. Never. You know, you think, no, it's not going to happen. I can't get this together. It's not going to happen. But I continued writing, and with the support of Jane, who was amazing at supporting me through this, I got this one out, which went to #1 on the Amazon in this particular field. This one now is a course. So this is a course, Yoga Pilates Fusion, a mind-bodied and balanced practice, which I am training trainers, but I also teach this every day as well. So I teach clients and I also train the trainers. And through this, because it has all the different methods to help people to reach, I'm not saying everybody has to look incredible. There's none of that. You don't have to look incredible. It's about feeling good and balancing mind and body. So this is now the course that I'm running. And in this book has part of this as well, because I feel these are so valid. It's doing another thing. That's the next course that I have running, which my husband, I couldn't do it without my husband. He's on there on the computer doing it, sorting it all out for me, is Yoga Nidra. Now, again, I talk about this in this book. Yoga Nidra is something I began at 17, which is called the waking sleep. So I use this with every single client as well, and in every single course I run. And back in the days when I started teaching in the fitness industry, I had just had a baby, and again, back to weird times in life, having a baby, and I had just trained as a school teacher. Well, what happened then? Because that was the late 70s, early 80s, you had to resign if you were a school teacher. You weren't allowed to actually have a baby. So I resigned from teaching, and that's how I got into fitness. So I went down with my little baby in a pram to the local squash courts and said, would you like to have an exercise class here? And he said, when can you start? Because there was lots of women with babies and they had child minding. That's what I wanted. Anyway, so I started teaching this class in my little ballet wear, because I was a dancer, so I had all the ballet stuff, and I just made it up. About 6 to 8 months later, someone said to me, do you know Jane Fonda's doing some classes just like yours? And I went, really? And they've called it aerobics. And I said, well, that's because it's to do with the breath, you know, and the heart rate. And I realise now, I'm on the wrong side of the world, that if I was doing what I was doing and somewhere that everybody noticed, well, I would have been, you know, in a different space altogether. But that's what I was doing. I was doing these classes which kept evolving and becoming the classes that they are now, to the fact that I just love teaching. And even this morning, I had a new person this morning who just said, I wish I was in Sydney. And I said, well, doesn't matter. I can train you anyhow. The best thing that's ever come about over the last few years is everybody Zooming. So I'm still Zooming. So I had clients back in 2019, we were in France then, and I was using Zoom to train my clients to Australia. Came back to Australia, what happened in January 2020? We all know that, the world changed. But I just went Zoom, and so does everyone now. I think that's it, it's become a way of life. So I am very easily able to train anybody anywhere in the world and work out time zones, that's not a problem. So I'm doing that right now with my book, I'm now going to do, because I love the idea of the videos. I've got to get that happening. That's his next job. So we're going to video the book. Now, I'm trying to say, because Jane gave me an outline of the sort of things I should say, and I've lost it. And I would like to say I do have all of the information in this book about hormonal changes, menopause, which is, as anyone noticed, it's one of the biggest topics happening at the moment is menopause. And every second day I get this little note saying, oh, there's another course on menopause. If anyone noticing that, it's menopause. Because when I first mentioned menopause as being something we need to deal with the women we're working with, oh, no, you can't talk about that. So things have really changed. This is only in the last few years. I wrote an article called I'm Still Hot, but it just comes in flashes. And I was told I can't. It's a published article. It was published in a magazine, and people said, oh, you can't get away with saying that. And I said, well, I did, and now I think it is so relevant. It's just, it's incredible. So anyway, I have the how to deal with menopause, how to deal with hormonal changes, how to deal with loss, how to deal with heartbreak, because I'm very much on the heartfelt way of teaching. I have the food, the nutrition, the balance. All of that is in this book. But now what I need to be doing is, what I was hearing, is use this as my card. This is my card to what I need to be doing. And I am looking for more clients, of course, to actually help them to move into a life of infinite possibilities. Because what happens? If we tell ourselves that we can't do that, we never will. In fact, the negative thought is the worst thing. So a little thought that I was listening to this yesterday. Say something in your head now that's possibly negative in your head, right? Just something that's negative. So I would say right now, shit is not a French word, and I'd be going, oh, I was a bit scared to stand up here, and then turn that around to, it's just fantastic to stand up here. Or you might be sitting there saying, I couldn't do that. And then just turn it around saying, I can do that. Because the moment you say, as was also said, you say, turn that to won't, then that's much worse. So can't has to go. Can't has to go. It can't stay. It's really important that we actually do the things that we would like to do, and then we can find the possibilities. And there's always a possibility of changing the mind, changing the body, changing the way you think. Now, I'm not sure if I've left anything in here or out of here that I would like to say. I'm now a mother, talking about the last, having a child years ago, having a marriage breakup, and then a new marriage that's been 33 years now, and a child, and going through all those different things, moving to France, starting my classes and having to teach in French. That was interesting. So it was things I went, I can't do that. I remember even saying I can't drive a car in France. Well, now it's really favourite thing to do is drive down a freeway really fast on the other side of the road. So, yes, infinite possibilities. They are infinite. And I think, I don't know if I have any more to say, and I'm sure I do, because I can just ramble on forever. But what sort of time have we got? Yes, I was just thinking about movement, about everybody just moving. Do you feel like it? I wish I put some music on. So that you'd actually move and just have a little bit of a flow, because that is a really lovely thing to do. Do you know what I mean by flow? So you hear a track, think of your favourite track in your head, and just let your body flow with it. Does anyone else do that? Just flow, just move, because that is the way you start to do that. And again, I mentioned, twist to the right, you massage your liver. Twist to the left, you massage your spleen. Roll down, you get all the muscles moving along the spine, and you're working on your spine. Standing up, and think of the crown of the head. Oh, which is another thing too. Walking along, okay? Do you ever see people walking like this? What's happening? They're on their phone. they're also changing the structure of their spine. They're not seeing anything. They're squashing up the internal organs. Standing up and looking forward. Now that's what I did. I am moving around now. That's what I did with one of my clients. She was in my studio where there was a mirror, and I said to her, she was losing her balance, and I said to her, can you just walk towards the mirror? That's all I said to her. So she said, thank you. So she said, just walk to the mirror. And I said, yes, just do that. Just walk to the mirror. Well, she went like this. And then I said, just stop a minute. Why are you walking like that? Oh, because I might fall over. And I said, no, you won't fall over. I tell you what I'd love you to do is go back and look. Who's that? And she said, me. I said, just look and walk towards you. And she went like this. And she went, oh, I never walk like that. Just something as simple as that. It will change the way you feel. The smile on her face, she suddenly said, oh, I have to practice it all the time because my daughter is continually telling me to stand up. And so just that simple thing is to change. You change your posture, you change everything here. You straighten out the spine, as I mentioned. You start to move the organs in your body. So this is the sort of thing that I love to do. I adore to do it, actually, is work with people. It's like I got asked to teach a class at a gym where they didn't know me a couple of weeks ago. And I started doing those sort of things. Like I got the music and I'm moving, even though it was supposed to be just a Pilates class, but it all turns into other things. And at the end of the class, they went, where do you teach? How come you're not here all the time? And I said, well, because I've actually stopped doing those type of classes. I'm actually wanting to work with people more individually, and that's what I love to do. So working with people or small groups, really, really quite exciting. And seeing the change in people. And that is, I think, my passion. My passion is movement. I thank my mother for the music. So music, she used to play Chopin. We'd come home from school playing Chopin, Rachmaninoff, and I'd dance. And my sister's the artist. So we always had, and then my father was the wild man. He was the Irish Catholic rogue. And so we always had this sort of wild sort of life of creativity, and I never want to let that go. And I also want to help people to actually feel passion inside of them, because sometimes, and particularly the last few years, a lot of passion and joy has disappeared. So it's about lifting vibrations, about moving your mind and your body, and opening the gate. Freedom. So yes, thank you. That's it.